The world unfolds differently for each of us. Why? Where do the rules come from? Within each of us, there is a unique philosophy shaping our thoughts, beliefs, feelings, worldviews, and actions. This is Inner Dialogues with Ejam, an introspective space for curious souls and minds. This is where you get to understand your individual philosophy that writes the script of your life. This is where we unveil the inner wisdom that guides you. Yep, that was your inner sage knocking the door. Let's go and chat with him. Hi, it's Ejam. Welcome back to Inner Dialogues with me. I just want to address how I'm feeling right now. Yesterday, I hosted the first group coaching call. And I don't think I have enough words to describe it. Every time I think about the experience, I get emotional for some reason. And I'm filled with joy. I'm filled with support, and I'm filled with hope. My intention was with those group coaching space was to bring what I like to call bring my soul tribe together, the people whom I feel very supported with, the people who joined my world through coaching, through different platforms, my friends at the same time. And I deeply knew that if my soul tribe were to know each other, they would love each other. Their hearts would recognize each other. And I think that's what happened yesterday as well. We exceeded the expectation on my behalf. I exceeded my own expectation, and but also the people who joined, they met a version of themselves that they didn't know it was there before. A very tangible example was that two of the people attended there, they weren't comfortable in talking in front of groups, but they didn't stop talking. They initiated the conversation. They wanted to share what they have on their minds, and it created such a expensive experience for all of us. So, and one of them even said, I normally have social anxiety, especially when it comes to talking in front of groups, but today I felt very safe and supported and not even think twice in sharing my heart and speaking my truth. So I was like, look at that. I've been called to hold these spaces, group coaching spaces, couple of weeks ago, and I knew that it was something I should start doing in order to create this group of people, a community of people who supports each other, who creates a space for each other to be heard, to be seen, and to be supported in the ways that they want to be supported, and for the things that they want to do with their lives. But seeing the fruits immediately in the first couple of minutes of the call was something else. Was definitely something else. So that's the thing that I wanted to address. And when I'm filled with excitement, when I'm filled with passion, I know that it becomes magnetic for other people to join into my world, into what I'm initiating at that moment. So that's what happened in the group coaching call. And I wanted to start with that energy to this new episode as well. And I shared this on Instagram 2 times actually. But as I was just sharing my feelings and thoughts from about the group coaching call, I was just like, let me set a date. Literally, this happened in this moment. Let me set a date for arranging a secondary group coaching call with which more people can join. I'll share more about the details and the date and the time and everything else and the topic at the end of the episode. So keep listening for that, because I think these spaces now I have a very tangible proof of that as well. As if my feelings and the excitement that I was feeling all around my body wasn't enough. But no, jokes aside, now I have tangible proofs of how these group coaching spaces can be beneficial for everyone who joins there. I wanted to describe those spaces that I want to initiate more and more as time and space where we recalibrate ourselves back with our potential with the support of a community. Everything's happen very much more quicker when we are supported with a group of people where we feel seen and heard and supported. So that is the intention and energy of these spaces. So as I said, more details will welcome you at the end of the episode. So let's move on to the episode now. So today's episode will be the topics that basically came up in the group coaching call, but also what I've been feeling lately, and as well as the topics that my clients come up to me in our sessions too. So and I want to start with this bold statement of one of the attendees of that in that group coaching call. She said that the more I learn, the less I feel ready. It was a realization or conclusion that she came to after pouring her heart out, after being vulnerable. And I want to follow her path. I want to follow that vulnerable space that we created in that group coaching call. So let's explore. On the day of the call, I was taking notes of the things that I wanted to talk about. I was thinking through ideas about how I can structure the session, the specific points I want to refer to. As a result of those preparations, I should have felt more ready in those days where I was preparing for the call than I felt 3 weeks ago when the group coaching idea came to me, right? Logically, it should have been like that, but no, it wasn't the case. I was feeling 10 times more ready when the idea and feeling of I want to do a group coaching call came to me than on the days I was getting prepared for the call. Because I think I was incubating, which is great and necessary to give birth to something, but after a point it turned into an escape and coping mechanism for me. If I were to plan more, I'd feel more ready. This was the mindset and belief that was leading me. I use this as an excuse and as a soothing mechanism for my excitement, because truly I was excited and nervous at the same time. I was about to step into an unknown territory. I think I haven't done before, although I've been called to do this and I have been doing this on a 101 level for over a year. If I were to stop getting ready and prepared, I had to face with my feelings. I had to face and sit with the unknown and all the reactions in my body. And funny enough, as I was excessively planning everything, trying to structure the session, I was very much aware of my incubation at that time. I was very much aware what I was doing, but I didn't want to stop because, again, stopping would have meant facing with the unknown of this new experience. Stopping would mean I'd have hours till the call, which would be another unknown to face with. So I used incubation as my coping mechanism, as my escape mechanism, as my soothing mechanism. And I think it has been like that for many years, for a very long time. Back in high school, although I was a pretty hardworking student with all her homework would have been done and the subjects were being tried to be well learned, I still study everything about an upcoming exam. What I mean everything, I literally mean everything from Unit 1, Activity 1 to the last thing I ever taken note of. And not just that, what studying for an exam meant for me at that time was to write everything down. I was already a big note taker, but as if that wasn't enough, I'd prepare pages and pages long study notes by hand. And I didn't realize that this was not a convenient and quote unquote normal way to study for exams, especially if you're already an organized student. More than that, I didn't realize this wasn't about studying. One of my dearest teachers realized this about me, how I was studying for exams, and challenged me to drop this habit of mine. It was so challenging to let go of and not to slip back to old habits. Now I look back on those times and realize that that was nothing to do with studying. That was pure incubation. That was digging a deep pit and making myself get stuck in there without any forward momentum. That was purely a coping and soothing mechanism for and with something much deeper in me. I'd have asked that girl, what is it that you don't want to face with? How can we support and cultivate the self-trust you have for yourself and what you do? And I still have that version of me today, maybe not in the same intensity, but we all have all the possible versions of ourselves within us. They're just waiting for right conditions to appear so that they can come up on the stage. It is definitely a big step that I was aware of my incubation for the group coaching call as I was getting prepared for it. Now, the next step for me is to cultivate self-trust and create systems for me to find a sweet spot between preparation and action. There is no such thing as feeling ready. Technically, readiness is not a feeling. It's not like I'm happy or I'm sad. Those are feelings, but ready is not a feeling. There's a Medium article by Andrew Gerstner, sorry for my pronunciation, which is titled as Ready is not a feeling, it's a decision. For me, readiness is a decision of letting go of the preparation, the things you learned, the things you prepared yourself with. And at the same time, it's a decision of action. It's a decision of, now everything I know and I don't know will be needed with action. It is allowing actions to diffuse into you. It is self-trust. It is allowing present moment to do its own thing, its own magic. Present moment inhabits more possibilities than the future does. And readiness is deciding to flow and dance with those infinite possibilities in the present moment of action. Andrew Gerstner says in that article, quote, readiness will not wait for you. You need to meet it. I think that is one of the tricks of our minds, that once we do certain things and tick certain boxes, we'll arrive at this point of readiness. we think like this. It's not that passive though. Gerstner says in order to be ready, quote, you need to act, to choose, to decide. And I'd say we need to decide to dance with the unknown, to sit with the unknown. Why was I incubating for the group coaching call, for example? Because I sought clarity. I wanted to clearly see the path I was gonna walk on. And ironic enough, now that I look back on the group coaching call, the very first people who want to be coached on that call started with this struggle she has in her decision making. She always seeks for clarity, and she said that this sometimes becomes a hindrance for her to step into action zone. And I shared this Instagram story as I was recording this episode, and I said, I cannot keep myself being amazed and still surprised after every session with clients how it takes me to the places within me too. Especially after a group coaching call where several people are being coached and got to share a collective experience and unfolding within an hour, everything starts to dissolve more easily and quickly. If this is not the power of community, then what is? This is what I shared on Instagram stories. And really, like, this happened. I feel like I'm still trying to live with the experience, the after effect of that group coaching call. But it happens with every session I have with my clients. The topics that they bring into those sessions, I find pieces of them from me too. Not, of course, specifically in the session, but if I were to have find those points, I write them down, and so that I don't let myself to be led by those points, but by those personal points. So it really amazes me how, like, tying back to the clarity, I was incubating because I was seeking for clarity. I wanted to envision, I wanted to clearly structure the session we were going to create with the rest of the group. But I tried to finalize that picture without having the rest of the characters of that picture. Right? Like, now I'm realizing it. I'm realizing this now. It was like trying to say that, and I was aware that coaching is such a momentary thing when it comes to it is something that is shaped with what client brings and what clients, in this case, in that group coaching call, bring into the table and into that space on that moment, in that time, on that space. I'm aware of that, but at the same time, one part of me is not okay with the unknown, and that part of me is such a survival part of me, is trying to protect its ego, protect its identity, right? But how can I find that sweet spot? I think that's what it comes to at the end of the day. How can I find that sweet spot of control? Because I think this is purely about control, trying to envision the path and surrender to the unknown, play with the unknown, be playful with the unknown. I recently come across this quote by Joseph Campbell. He says, quote, "If you can see your path laid out in front of you step by step, you know it's not your path. Your own path you make with every step you take. That's why it's your step, it's your path." End quote. Knowing and living with this idea of I'm creating my own path with every step I take means I'm always walking with the unknown. Unknown is my companion. How can I trust the unknown then? How can I embrace it and even be playful with it? How can I trust the process of things and situations being unfolded? This trust in the process and unknown has been a recent topic that came up in a recent session with one of my clients, actually. I asked her, how can you incorporate mindful exposure to the unknown each day? It's like cold showers or plunges, right? Mindful ways to exposure our bodies to stress. Same thing can be applied to anything in our lives. Mindful exposure. I really love that term when I coined it. When it came to me, I probably didn't coin it in that specific session with my client. If we want, for example, more abundance, we can tap into ways in which we can feel more abundant in our lives every day. Or we may want to create something, writing a book, an article, record a podcast, sending an apology message, creating a presentation, shooting a video, editing, creating your sales page, website, whatever that is. Creativity has so many different expressions. If I want to do those things, how can I incorporate small nuggets of creativity into my day that will calibrate our minds and mindsets in the long run to show up and write that book, send that message, record that video, whatever that is? It's like creating a muscle memory. As we practice every day, a part of the reality we want to live in, not only it is being recorded in our muscle memory, body muscles and brain muscles, but also we let go of incubation and decide to be ready by taking action. Decide to be ready, not wait to be ready. This idea of mindful exposure creates a safe place, a safe space for us to play with the unknown as well, I think. If we are finding ourselves looking for certainty and clarity and readiness in order to start doing something or deciding to even end something, we can create these safe exposure areas in our lives where we mindfully play with the unknown. Playing with the unknown increases the trust in the unfolding of life, the self-trust, our resourcefulness, and even our readiness to learn more. The more I learn, the less I feel ready. Those wise words from one of the attendees in that group coaching this week. It shattered the whole group. Everyone started nodding, smiling, because a big part of them felt recognized, felt seen, felt heard, felt that they were not alone. I read Lao Tzu's words the day after the group coaching call, when the thoughts and those vulnerabilities that was shared in the call was still living with me, trying to find their places and voices in my life. His words go, quote, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." Every time I incubate, I clinch onto the person I am, the person I want to be, the person that others want to see me as. And that clinging blocks all the possibilities I can ever be. From which need this feeling arises from which need this behavior is happening from. I think all the things that I talked about until now addresses the answers for these two questions. From which need I have a tendency to incubate, from which need I have a tendency to have clarity, from which need I think I need to be ready, from which need I'm postponing action. this is it for this episode of Inner Dialogues with a Gem. I'm very, very grateful for taking the action of setting this space of group coaching call. And there will be two different calls, two types of calls. One will be community only, invite only space, because I want to keep that sacred, safe space for my community only. And there will be public, open to everyone calls, group coaching calls. I'm planning to do them every month. The very first open to everyone group coaching call will be on the 14th of November. You can find all details regarding time, topic, the structure of the session in the link. It's the link in the description. But the topic will be everything and more that we spoke today. It will be about incubation and delaying action. And we find inspirational nuggets as like clarity, like this wonderful phrase, the more I learn, the less I feel ready, and many, many more things from that group coaching call. And that space opened up for us to get deeper in our incubation tendencies and our intention of why we are delaying action, and the forms of action and the forms of incubation for each one of us. So you'll be more than welcome to join. You can reach out to me about the group coaching call, as always, about every other thing as well. But I'm looking forward to welcome you in this space where you will be supported, where you will be calibrated back with your potential, with the support of a wonderful community. And for the ones who already attended the community only coaching call, feel free to join this one as well. The topic will be the same, but the experience will be different because of the people who will join and the things that will be shared. So until next time, as our conversation for today fades away, may you find your echoes of it that resonate within you. Thanks for listening today. This is Inner Dialogues with a Gem, a place where you discover your inner you, a place where you belong. Take care.